This is episode 40 of the Rhythm and Rhymes podcast. I'm your host, AJ. I'm here with my co-host, Antonio Hughes. I'm trying to come up with a tagline for the pod, right? Like, what are we going to call it? Like the biggest black podcast or the black music podcast or I don't know. I got to come up with one, but start thinking of one.
The biggest black podcast between here and the diaspora, something like that.
Yeah, it'll come to us. We'll try one every week and see how it goes. But how's it going? How was your week? First week back.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good. I was just trying to get all my classes settled and everything like that. Had to sign up for a class at the community college and they didn't get me in early enough, so missing that one. It's actually an African American history class. I was excited about that, but I just been looking for a job. I don't really know if I'm gonna have to really look for one anymore, just because Auntie was trying to pay me more, so I wouldn't have to get a job. I could just focus on the editing and then recommit to the Rome wear and continue to build R&R, all that stuff. But I mean, it's been pretty solid.
Why didn't you get into the class in time? Did they tell you? Did they not tell you until you got back that it was at the community college and you had to sign up, or you just they fucked it up?
I had my associates, which didn't really make sense when I came here. They were trying to argue with me about credits, and usually when you get a full associates, they can't say anything about like what you have credit wise. But down here, they've been trying to do that, and there were some classes I couldn't get into until like the semester ended, and that just happened to be one of them. So then when I went to do it at the community college, they approved me super late, and then I was trying to get information about the class and see what was going on, and nobody was answering me from fam. And then I got on a call with my advisor here, and he was like, you have to talk to your advisor at the community college because they give you one of those when you do like a transient student thing. You're doing it through a different school or whatever. So then I was emailing that lady. She didn't answer me. 2 days passed. And I was like, I mean, I kind of need to figure out what's going on with this class. Like, I went through a full week of classes and I clearly missed this one, at least the first week of it. So I need to figure out what's going on. So then I went up to the community college and they told me they couldn't even register me for the class because they were all full. And they said the cutoff date was the day that I had went up there. And I'm sitting there like, bro, I emailed y'all, I hit y'all. I was sitting here since the end of December. Even it was like end of December trying to figure out this class, and y'all didn't answer me fast enough. So now I'm trying to take it at Chipotle College, which their date is today, and I still haven't got an answer from the Chipotle College people. That's like in Broward or whatever, because it's an online class either way. But I'm
Yeah,
trying to see if I can get in it. Like the one that was at TCC was an in-person class, and the really confusing thing, and then I'll be done, is that my advisor didn't even know it was an in-person class that he was telling me to sign up for. So he was sitting there like, well, isn't it online? Aren't you supposed to just be able to get into all the stuff? And I was sitting there sharing my screen, going through here, showing him what was going on. He was like, I understand you're frustrated. We just got to get through this. And I'm like, bro, I'm frustrated because it seems like y'all don't know what y'all doing. And I'm frustrated
that's a
because y'all
fact.
not communicating the right way. Like,
That's a fact. I will say, school advisors. Yeah, I could do a whole dissertation on how. I'm not even gonna do it, bro. What are they there for, bro? They have no idea what they're doing. They just there to answer the phone and make it seem like the school know what the fuck going on, but they don't know what's going on, bro. That shit is hilarious. But hopefully you sort it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Out of the school system. Shout out to me for completing it. You know what I'm saying? 4-year grad. Hell yeah. But this week in music, I feel like I was really excited. It was a ton of releases I enjoyed, and I've been bumping a lot of it all weekend. Like out of what came out this week, what have you been listening to? What was first priority for you?
when I woke up, the first thing that popped up on my Spotify was actually the 21 Savage album. Of course, it was for me at least. I feel like he's always been pretty heavy in my algorithms, but it was him, and then I definitely got into Kali Uchis after that. Even the Boldy James too. I would say those three were probably my big three for the weekend.
So let's start with 21 Savage. What did you think of the American Dream overall, everything about it.
I think it sounded very mature from him. Like I feel like one thing about 21 Savage is he came in with that 2016 class, that XXL class that just had a bunch of like star-studded talent. You got Uzi, Denzel Curry, G Herbo, even Lil Dicky, who's a big TV movie guy now. Like little people like that, Kodak, Lil
Yeah.
Yachty. Like there were so many people in there, and he's one of those people that rap wise he stayed quality through the years. He's gotten better through the years, I'll say. Like I feel like when he first came in, it was super hard, super dark. I feel like he was one of the ones that was more so like he had the darker trap music. But now I feel like he's really getting into his R&B bag. He had a lot of great samples on here. His feature placement was great to me. Like I feel like the Doja Cat song really showed me that when he came out with something like that. I was like, this is different. Like this doesn't really sound like something he would make like straight out. But that I didn't get to hear the song with Mariah the Scientist. I really want to hear that because I like the one with Summer Walker too. That was real good. But I like this album overall. Like I feel like he was rapping his ass off. Like Red Rum is probably gonna be in my playlist for a while. But I very much so enjoyed this album, and I am gonna be bumping it all year. I think it's gonna be one of the best albums of the year. I know it's early, but I think it's gonna be up there. I think it has a lot of replay value too. So
I think that's fair to say. I think I was actually excited for this album too. This is the first time I was excited for an American rap project in a very long time, if I'm being honest. And I will say the lead up and the rollout for this project was actually like perfect, honestly, because he went back to the UK a little while ago. He was like posting stuff from there. He was the stuff with Central C or whatever. I think it was just like the build up for it. Plus, there was just like ancillary stuff happening. Like, I guess they put his dad. I don't know if you saw clips of his dad on a podcast at one point talking about like, yo, I haven't talked to him or I haven't seen him in XYZ. And even though it wasn't, I guess, directly into the narrative of the album, I think that was interesting too, because it's like, I feel like the UK thing with 21 Savage was such like, it was a point. It was like, bro, who knew this nigga was British? Like that was the whole thing. So I think the marketing around the project was something that I really appreciated in terms of telling a story. And plus the music is really good. I agree with you. A lot of the samples were surprising. And I guess he found his pocket on a lot of these. And the ones that were clearly Drake influenced, I enjoyed them as well. So this is definitely going to be in the rotation for a while, though. I can say that.
I feel like he missed his beat here, like getting some of the UK artists on there. Like I feel like he definitely could have
Yeah.
dabbled with that, got some of those guys on there. I feel like Dave would have sounded real good on some like Red Rum or even Red Sky. I like that song too. I think Dave or Central She would have sounded real good on it. But I think next project, I feel like he'll be able to put more of that on there.
Do you think they just still don't respect it?
Would you
Do
say?
you think they still just don't? I said, do you think they still just don't respect it, like the UK? Because I mean, like at this point, it's like there's so many. Like I agree with you. There's so much potential for like a UK artist on this project, and he was just like, nah. Do you think that's just like not appealing?
Maybe he just doesn't think his audience is gonna gravitate towards that type of artist. Like I don't know, maybe he just hasn't seen which artist would fit well with what he does. But I feel like he was so experimental on this album, he could have just tried some stuff. I feel like if he would have had an Unknown Tier, he would have had a Central C, a Gigs on here, maybe people wouldn't have gravitated towards that song that much. Maybe it was more of like a marketing thing for him, I guess.
Maybe, I don't know. I feel like at this point, there's just been so much of it around, and especially coming off of like working with Drake. Drake's done it already. Drake had like a gigs feature already. He's worked with Central C. You're basically in that little pod, like, and I'm sure they've worked on music. It's like it doesn't really make sense. But the Burna Boy song was good. I really like that one too. I would say my favorite on the project though, the whatever the intro song is. I like the intro song. Let me look up the name. All of Me. I like All of Me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the Young Thug song, Pop Your Shit. I don't like it. Yeah, I would say All of Me is my favorite, but definitely going to be in rotation for a while. I'm interested to see what my new favorites will be. I will say the project I listened to the most this weekend was Unknown T. Unknown T released Blood Diamonds. It was his debut album. I think it was on Universal. Yeah, Universal Music. A lot of these songs came out before the album, and I wanted to say that the way that they released the album, like slowly one single by another, I think 8 of these songs came out before the project came out. And so in the flow of the project, I think they work. But I wanted to get your thoughts on just the project overall, maybe your favorites, what surprised you.
I can't even lie. I didn't get to listen to this project, but one thing I will say is I am
Okay.
so tired, sorry, of artists doing that. Like I feel like why are you sitting here putting out 8 of the singles that are on your album before the album, and it has never made sense to me. But
I agree with you and disagree with you. The reason I disagree with you is because I think that a lot of singles and music, in terms of like reaching new people, it's like social media, where it's like you post something on social media, only 3 to 5% of your following might see that post when it goes out, but you're trying to reach new people. Whereas like singles have the potential, it's like they still have the potential to give you new audience. And so I'm looking at all of these songs. They came out like over the span of like 8 to 10 months. It wasn't just like right before the album. Like Welcome to My Strip came out, Hocus Pocus came out last week, Pasta came out, Adolescence came out, Bon Appetit came out, Right Hand came out almost a year ago, and then the Daily Duppy and the Like SZA and Hard Life. So 7 out of 17, which is it's less than half. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't listen to Daily Duppies or GRM Daily, you missed 2 of these. So it was really 5. So I'm not mad at it. Anyway, Blood Diamond, Unknown T. I really liked the production on this album, and I think there isn't a person that sounds like Unknown T. He's so unique in just the way he articulates himself, the way he puts words together. You know what I mean? I feel like people have these almost like social cues or these things that make the way that they speak special. Like when I'm editing this pod sometimes and I'm making clips, you start to see patterns in like things that you repeat or things you say a lot. Like I say, you know what I mean a lot. And
yeah,
sometimes I'm aware of it or sometimes I'm not, but I realize that by just reading it. And he has a couple of those that are distinct. Like when he says listen, or he does like the little grunts or whatever. Like that's common throughout a lot of his songs, which while it might be annoying or unorthodox to some people, I appreciate it because that means it's unique and nobody else sounds like that or makes it sound that unique. So my favorite songs on this project, Hocus Pocus with Loyal Carter, somebody I've been hearing a lot of recently. I've only ever heard one other song by him, and it was with Nux. And I really like this because I honestly think he out rapped Unknown T on this one. And then I will say, Welcome to My Strip has been a repeat since it came out. Time, the intro, and then the Ignition interlude. I will say I was a little, he did a song called Rain with Tiana Major, which I feel like, I don't know if it was a cop out, but it's like Stormzy has a song called Rainfall with Tiana Major, and it came out a couple years ago. And they give me the same vibe. And so I'm like, I could kind of do without that song. But the project overall, good listen. And I would suggest anybody that's into rap music, because this is a hip hop album. I will say that this is a real hip hop album. If you like hip hop or rap, go check this out. Next, we have a surprise. I will say somewhat of a surprise. I figured it would be good, but it's better than I thought it was. Kali Uchis put out her Spanish project called, I don't even want to try and butcher this. It starts with an O. It's going to be right here on the screen when it comes up. You know what I'm saying? But uh, I enjoyed this project. But what did you think of it, Antonio? Did you listen to the whole thing? Did you have any favorites?
I did listen to the whole thing. I love this album. I think Kali Uchis should definitely stay in the reggaeton lane. I feel like I like her American music, her English music, but this was just so fire. Like I feel like her Spanish music, her reggaeton is very quality every time she drops. I would say my favorite song off of it was the song with her and Carol G. I'm not gonna lie, I
Mm.
heard that one and I thought that was the one El Alpha was gonna be on, just from how crazy it sounded, just from jump. Like her coming out there and then Carol G hopping on that too. I loved that song. But I would definitely say this was a good album. Like I really enjoyed it. And I also liked how she was kind of doing the whole late night jiggy thing, like mixing the Spanish and the English and going back and forth. I thought that was really cool. But this is gonna be in my rotation for a while, like without a doubt.
I remember she said prior to this album that she was gonna, or maybe it was the one before this. She said she was gonna switch off Spanish and English, and I think we might have talked about it even.
Yeah.
But I think finding somewhere in the middle, it's like if you can do that, then it's like you could sort of bring both of those worlds together. Because I'm sure she has a lot of people who just speak Spanish and a lot of people who just speak English. But if you could sort of like weave it together, then I think you have like a big opportunity to do like some cool collab. Like even the Muñequita with Alpha and JT, like that is such a weird song. Like I don't know anybody else who could do that song outside of her, and it's fire. It's one of my favorite songs for sure. But I will say, I usually when I'm listening to a project, I try not to like if the single is really that good, I'll like it, but I usually just try and let it run through. But there were so many songs on here where it's like I like this song by itself, like the intro, Como Así, I like that one. Te Mata, that one was fire. Muñequita, I've been listening to that since it came out. No Hay Le Parte 2 with Raul Alejandro. I think isn't how you name his name. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We get names wrong a lot here, so I might be wrong. But this reminds me of. I feel like that Raul Alejandro, his bag is sort of like a pop house esque type of vibe because this reminds me almost. It's almost in the same vein as Party with Bad Bunny. Like it's just upbeat and it's just like you know. And then Dame Beso Muévete, the outro, bro. That reminded me of home, bro. Like that reminded me of like people I used to hang out. I'm not gonna say her name. People I used to hang out with and music that they started listening to and stuff like that. Like it reminded me of home. That's a vibe. That's probably my favorite song on the album, if I'm being honest. But this is a great project, top to bottom. I don't know why you laughing. I'm not whether or not I ain't talked to people in mad long, but it's like I'm not gonna give them the satisfaction of having their name put in this shit. Like what if 6 years from now somebody clips it, it circulates, and they see it? Well, fuck that. Fuck that. They know who it is, they'll figure it out. Nobody else needs to know. Boldy James, penalty of leadership. I didn't think I was gonna get to this, but I did get to it this morning when I was working. Did you have a chance to listen to this one or no?
Of course I did. You know, my guy Nicholas Craven is on here. He's one of my favorite producers right now. I've said this last week, but this album was real great to me. The thing I think stood out to me, at least, and my favorite song has to do with this. I feel like Boldy James has always been super like he has really mature rap if you listen to it. Like I feel like he's not on the one side of Detroit where they're doing the super upbeat like drill type of stuff, the Detroit bounce, whatever you want to call it, and he's not like super on the mature side. Like I feel like he's a perfect balance. Like, and I
Right.
think that's one of the things that with like when you talk about guys like Drake or rappers getting older in general, like I feel like him and Ransom are two people that you really see like mature raps from and their quality. And this is definitely an album I would like suggest people to go check out, especially if you're looking for quality raps, like crazy beats. I would say beats that kind of bring me back. But my favorite song off of here was Straight A's. I really like this album though. I think it's something everybody should check out.
I think the tone of the album is like real mellow and chill,
Mm-hmm.
which is like it's a different. He's done the stuff with Alchemist, which I feel like was like a perfect mix for the two of them. But I feel like this is like I don't know. This is a Nicholas Craven album for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is his beats and his selection. Like it's so cool when you can see a producer like you can hear a beat and know it's them before it's like actually like you go check the credits and stuff. But I enjoyed this project as well. I didn't have any like standout tracks to me. It was one of those I just kind of threw it on while I was working, and I was just fucking with the whole album. Or as far as I got, like I said, I only got 6 or 7 songs in. Which one did you say was your favorite?
Straight A's.
Straight A's. Was that in the first half or this? Was in the second half?
Second half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna give this one more of a listen. In terms of other albums or projects, the Book of Clarence soundtrack, I wanted to get to this, but sadly I did not get to listen to it. Did you listen to this at all or no?
No.
Okay. The reason I wanted to bring this up was because of some of the collaborations on here because I thought they were interesting. So I'll just read some of the songs. So Hallelujah Heaven, Lil Wayne, Buju Banton, and Shabba Ranks. Jizu, Doja Cat, Kodak Black, Adekunle Gold. Champagne, Georgia Smith. Sacred Love by Yemi Alade. I Want You Forever, D'Angelo, Jay-Z. God Queen by Kid Cudi. Alice Smith, or I don't know what that word is. Magdalene, Alice Smith, and then Varinia, Terry Collier. But it was really just those first two, Lil Wayne, Buju Banton, and Shabba Ranks, and then Doja Cat, Kodak Black, and Adekunle Gold. I can only imagine how those two songs are going to sound. I just hope they're good.
I feel like Kodak Black, Adekunle Gold, and Doja Cat on the same song. That sounds like the craziest mix, bro. I gotta hear that.
Yeah, Joey Akin had tweeted something like Adekunle, but he's biased. He said Adekunle Gold had like the best part on there, but I don't know. I don't know. Kodak's Haitian. Kodak might have got off. He might have gotten his little bag, but we'll come back next week on that. Singles. I want to talk about Asake's single "Only Me." I'm not saying he's falling off. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying, it's starting to You remember when the baby kept releasing singles, and this is why he was my comparison earlier, because it was like, bro, it's the same song, it's the same piano, yo, it's hey Blaze Beats. I don't know. This might not have been the one. I don't want to say too much. I'm just saying, like, yo, I'm watching. That's all I'm saying, Asake. I'm watching.
I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I feel like And My Piano is becoming such a big thing now that he was one of the first artists to really jump out there and be big with it. So it's like, yeah, I feel like he could probably switch it up, try some different sounds, but if he don't need to, if it's selling, if it's working, why change it? Like, there's no point.
I guess, but I think like there still has to be some variation in the beat, right? Like I think I'm a piano. As you get further into it, you start to realize there's subgenres of even I'm a piano. Like there's a jazz I'm a piano. There's like a high upbeat one. Like there's ones that are real log drum heavy. So there's definitely different types of it. But yo, there's like 4 Asake songs that sound exactly like this. I'm sorry. So I don't know what to say. But I just want people to be aware of that. Another single I thought was interesting and something I feel like we don't talk about reggae on here. So I thought this would be an interesting one to bring up. My Sweet Lord, Damian Marley. I fuck with this song. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you got a chance to look at it or listen or watch it, but what drew me to the song was an article about how he filmed the video in San Blanque de Basilo. San Blanque de Basilo is recognized as the first free town for Africans in the Americas. I guess a bunch of slaves in like the 1600s ran away from a Spaniard, either a slave master or somebody bringing them over there, and they were able to get to this part of Colombia, build walls around it, and it was a place where freed slaves or escaped slaves will go to like live out their lives. And the video is really powerful. I will say, like, it might just be my ignorance up until this point, but seeing like South Americans who look exactly like us, like I feel like there's a lot of like in Latin America, the mix, it's like you sort of get to a point where it's like you're obviously you're obviously black, but you got like you know what I'm saying, there's still Hispanic features there. Mm-hmm. Whereas like down there, they look like straight Africans, bro. Like they just black, like, you know, and you start to realize like our perception has been shaped by what they've shown us. And I just feel like they don't show us enough of those black communities down there for us to just see like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we know there's black South Americans, but if you watch the video, bro, it's like you could have said that is a town in Africa and you would not have known. If they wouldn't have told you where it was like that. And I just thought the song paired with the vision, like the imagery and the visuals, it was really powerful.
I'm definitely gonna go check this out. But I feel like even when I went to Costa Rica, you would see that they push the black people or the black people out to the outskirts of most places. Like they push them out far away. Like they said, the Caribbean beach, that's where most of the black people are in Costa Rica, at least.
Oh, wow.
That's where a lot of the people who are of more African descent, they're that way, but that's towards the coast. That's farther out. Like I feel like inland, you were seeing a lot more people with lighter complexions, and it's purposeful. They do that on purpose. Like it's kind of crazy, but
in Brazil, there's I don't know what their version of a state would be. I think it's a province, but like, it's like Baja, I think it is. I'm gonna look it up, but I was watching this guy his name's the Indigo Traveler on YouTube, and he goes to a bunch of places that most people wouldn't go on quote unquote vacation or they haven't seen like in the news and stuff. And he'll go and do stuff. Like he's been to Haiti, North Korea, Afghanistan, like crazy places that like I guess the average traveler wouldn't go. And he went to this place called, I think, Baja in Brazil, and essentially that was the biggest slave port in the Americas, right? Like, so the most amount of slaves, the most amount of Africans brought across the Atlantic were taken to Brazil. So that was the biggest slave port in the world at one point. And you go there, it's all black, bro. It's all black people. And when he was showing it, like, it is, I guess infrastructure wise, it's not the most developed area, but it was beautiful, bro. Like seeing him and like the people he was interacting with, like that's something that I added to my list for sure. Because I think when you think of Brazil, you just think of Rio, when in reality, like Brazil there's hundreds of millions of black people in Brazil. And a lot of people don't even know that.
I definitely
Bahia. It's called Bahia, Brazil. Sorry. But yeah, Bahia, Brazil. Check out the song though. My Sweet Lord. If you can go watch the video because that's what we're talking about. But music news. I got 3 quick topics. And the first one, I'm not gonna get into the tit for tat, the back and forth. We're not here for the I'm not here to be messy. I'm here for the music. I'm here for the music. And I will say, Stefflon Don put out 3 songs, 3 diss tracks. Jada Kingdom put out 2 diss tracks. They're beefing. If you don't know why, go listen to Taliban's 2 by Burna Boy and Byron Messiah. I'm not going to tell you why. You just go listen to the song. You tell me why. Jada Kingdom watched Stefflon Don. She watched her. I have to go to like those little translator people, the people who could like speak patois and then like sort of like, Americanize it for me so I can understand what they were saying. Steff got washed. And I'm a Steff fan. Steff got washed.
I definitely got to go listen to these then, because I mean I'm starting to get into Stefflon Don more. Like after we had that one single she put out a couple weeks ago, and even the Jada Kingdom one, I've been listening to those 2 for a minute. So I'm trying to get into both of them more. But if they got beef, I'm always for the rapper beef. You know me, I always
Yeah.
hear it.
Yeah. And when I'm online, like trying to get into like the Jamaican blogs or the Instagram pages and stuff like that, and I didn't know that like she like made a name for herself or got fairly notable in Jamaica because she beefed with Shensia and she beat Shensia. Like there's a freestyle. You gotta go watch it. You gotta go watch it. It's it's not the Shang Yang anthem, the Shang Hang anthem, and it's got her like it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I didn't know she was like this. I was unaware. I was unaware of your game, Jada Kingdom, but she's really like that. But check out the diss tracks if you're a fan of like. I'm a fan of the bars, bro. I'm just a fan of the bars. So if you're a fan of that, go check it out. But briefly, I wanted to mention the All Is Yellow album by Lyrical Lemonade. Um, I am. We're from Aurora, Illinois. If you don't know where that is, it's outside Chicago. Plano, Illinois is not that far from us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that far, and a lot of the imagery that he released for the track list and the album is done in Plano, like in the fields, which I thought was so creative and so dope, bro. But like I just wanted to say the track list looks great. It's crazy that a videographer is able to get this list of people on a project together, from Eminem to Jid to Dave to Jack Harlow. Like it's a crazy list of people. But I will say, as a creative and as I'm an artist, I would say I'm a type of artist. It's motivating to see stuff like this, like to see the imagery of it and not know it was Plano until I started reading the little fine print and stuff like that, and to know where he's from and like how it came together. I would say it's inspiring and motivating to just like do something creative that people haven't done before, but something that's unique.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a crazy album. Like I feel like were you still talking? Oh, okay, I was just making sure. Okay. I feel like this is gonna be a crazy album too. I think it's cool to even hear people that I know that went to Plano be like, "Oh, I knew Cole Bennett," or "I was around him. He graduated a year before me." Like stuff like that. I think that's really cool to
Yeah.
see. I think I'm definitely gonna want to check out the Chief Keef and Yachty song. Amine and Sway Lee. That's gonna get me there.
Who's
Even
the
Lil
wait?
Yachty,
Who else
Lil
is on?
Badass. That sounds like a crazy mix, but
Who?
one thing I will
Wait,
not
you're looking at it.
is anything that has Kid Cudi on it in 2024. What's the issue?
I was gonna the Sway Lee, the Sway Lee song. Who's the other artist on there? Because I saw there was a
Lotto,
weird pairing. It was it was Lotto and Lotto Swaley and who?
Amina.
Yeah, Lotto and Amine. I thought that was gonna be weird, but that song looked interesting to me.
Yeah, I think that one's gonna sound good. Lotto, bro, Lotto's so good to me, bro. Like she's gonna
Yeah,
be one of those female rappers that's around, bro. Like she got talent, honestly.
yeah, I agree. So this project comes out in 2 weeks, the 26th, right?
Hmm.
Okay, we'll definitely cover it here, Rhythm and Rhymes. Place you come to for music reporting. But last thing I want to talk about, Rvssian. This man Rvssian, yo. As the weeks go on, I realize how much of a legend he really is. Like we're just not aware because we're not from there. But he did an interview recently. I was watching it before this, and I'm gonna watch the whole thing. But there were snippets that got put out um, of him talking about it, and so he says that the next Rihanna album is gonna be a dancehall album, and he says that he already got paid for the work that he did on the album. So it's locked in. It's not like one of those things where they get it done and they pay him on the back end. If they paid him already, that means it's definitely coming out. Um, and I want to get more into the impact of a potential Rihanna dancehall album in a minute. But there were two other things I thought were interesting. It was mentioned that I didn't know that Shensia was signed to Rvssian. So basically, they're in a joint. Interscope is in a joint venture with Shensia's label, which is Rich Immigrants, and he is the owner of that label. I didn't know that until recently, but he said that they haven't talked in 2 years, and it has to do a lot with the direction that Shensia decided to go with her career. Um, Talking to Caribbeans, a lot of people are not disappointed, but they want the old Shensia, the dancehall Shensia back. But Shensia has come out and said that she's trying to go more in a pop R&B direction because she was tired of dancehall, which she has every right to do. But I think personally, as somebody who got introduced to her very recently, I would prefer dancehall Shensia too. And in this interview, Rvssian said the same thing. He was like, sort of, this is not what people want to hear from you, and this is sort of not where we started working together on. But Shensia was pretty dead set on doing the pop thing, so they haven't talked in that long. But he says anything she's ever done since then, or anything like budget wise she's needed, he's cleared, which I think is respectable. Even though he doesn't agree with it, he's like, "Yo, just do your thing." Um, but this interview is actually very interesting and starting to see like, bro, he's done so many records. Like the record that broke Bad Bunny in the States. I forget the name of it, but I'm gonna find it. But I guess he produced that. It was him, Farrakhan, if I think his name is right, and then the features on that, like on the remix, were Nicki Minaj, 21 Savage, and Travis Scott. That was a song that broke uh, Bad Bunny over here to like Americans. Let me find it. Oh, Crispy Cuppy, I think it's called. Oh no, Crispy Kush. That song was annoying as fuck. If you go to Miami, it's gonna be in any reggaeton set. But I fucking hated it. I hate the hook. Bad Bunny's hook on there is annoying. But that's the song that made him big. But he was talking about a bunch of other songs he's made, bro, where like he's produced for everybody. Sean Paul, Vibes Cartel, Bad Bunny, um, Future, Moneybag Yo. Like he has a lot of people on his production credits that I was not aware of. And I just thought it was a good interview. So if you're into like listening to him and his story, I think it's something you should definitely check out. Also, from a perspective of like, bro, there are a lot of non-black people in Jamaica.
Mhm.
Like whether or not it's acknowledged in media, like there's communities of these people. Like there's a lot of them, but they're Jamaicans. They're Jamaicans still. You know what I'm saying? If they're born there, they're raised there in that culture. It's like they're still Jamaican. It's just they're not black. And so even the interviewer, if you go watch this, to me, the interviewer is sort of approaching him or communicating with him in a type of way of like as almost like he's an outsider. That's the vibe I get from it. Where it's like, bro, you're Jamaican, but I don't know. Like if you go listen to a couple of minutes of it and just see how he's talking to him, like there's a little, to me, it feels like a little tension there. And I can imagine like the community of non-blacks and the community of blacks there, like there probably has to be some like, and I feel like that's in any neighborhood or any community where it's like the minority and the majority, there is some disconnect there.
Mhm.
But I just thought that was interesting and I watched like 25 minutes of it. Um, But I wanted to ask you, I talked about it on here last week how I think the reason that dancehall isn't as big as like an Afro beats has a lot to do with how they're speaking, the patois, and how thick it is for a lot of people. If Rihanna, somebody who has dabbled in that world but has a clearer accent to Americans, does a dancehall album, what do you think that could do? Not even here, just globally.
I think it would play into the change that's already going on. Like I feel like having another American act hop on an international sound would push it farther than it could with just the normal people who are usually on it. Like I feel like bridging that gap with a person like Rihanna, as big as Rihanna, knowing that everybody's been waiting for a Rihanna album, I think it would do crazy numbers, and I think it would change a lot of how music is sounding. Like I feel like more people would start to go in that direction, see how it's digestible, and be able to find those artists that work for them so they can understand it. Like I feel like, yeah, like you said, the patois is kind of hard to understand sometimes, but I feel like once you get through that, for me, always sonics are the big thing. Like I'm trying to find another word in 2024 besides sonically because I hate that word. But I feel like sonically, music, you should be first listening to how it makes you feel, how the sounds are, and then if you can get into the words later with some stuff, I feel like you should. But there's with stuff like this, I feel like dance hall, it's a lot of dance, it's a lot of movement, it's a lot of what you feel with it, not what you're hearing with the words per se.
Yeah. You you said uh Rihanna, an American artist. You know she's Caribbean, right?
Yeah, but I
Did you
mean,
know that
all
or
of her
no?
music is in English, and I mean,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
lived
yeah,
in
yeah.
America for longer than I feel like. How long did she live in Barbados before she came over to America? Because I knew that.
I don't. Okay, I was just making sure. I was just making sure you, because I feel like that's important to say. Because I think you're right. She did live here longer than she lived there, but I think that's important to say only because like it's sort of like the like Nicki and Trinidad thing.
Mhm.
It's like when she pops out and does a Machel song, people are like, who the fuck is this guy?" Even though Machel is a legend, type shit. So if there's anybody to do it, I think she could do it, and I agree with everything you said. Honestly, I do just think that a lot of the general American music listening public has a bias.
Mhm.
They have a bias towards us, and so while the words don't matter to people that just enjoy music, um, to the people that the labels are trying to reach and spend money with, um, a lot of times they're going to be biased towards people that tailor to them, I guess. But something else I noticed was I read something else on another article. This might just be speculative, but if it's true, I hope like I'm excited for it. It said Coffee is supposed to be on this album too. Um, and I just wish Coffee's one of my favorite artists, and I just want more Coffee music, honestly. Like the last song she put out was kind of butter. It was kind of bad. It was with Sam Smith and somebody else. It was not the best. Oh, I think it was Jesse Reyes. I ain't fuck with it. But her last album was really good. So if she's doing something with Rihanna, I'm hype. They said that potentially that Burna Boy Coffee song will never see the light of day. I got to send you the leak, but is he? Is he? All right. I think that's pretty much it for this week. Do you have a song for us and for the people at home? Like, what do they need to be listening to?
I'm trying to pick between these two, but I think I'm gonna go with 22 by Jo. I had never heard of Jo before. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm just not
22 too.
hip, but this song was very fire, and I heard it on a girl's story, and I stole that instantly because you know how I be, instantly to steal the music. But 22 by Jo, this is a good track. You guys should go check this out.
Okay, that is a good song. He was at the festival I went to in London. He was performing there. He's from London,
Mm.
so yeah, I heard this song on TikTok. But that's definitely it's in my Serato. You know what I'm saying? DJ AJ, it's in there. Whatever. But the two songs I'm giving y'all this week, yes, I'm staying with two songs because nobody can tell me what to do. First, Dame Beso and Muévete by Kali Uchis. Like I said, that song reminds me of home. It was very nostalgic for some reason. And then I'll give y'all some. I think this is Garage, UK Garage. All of Me, Do for Love by Blinky, Bugsy Malone, and Star One. This is a very different type of vibe, right? Coming off of the house stuff I'm listening to, I'm getting in a UK house. You know what I'm saying? So this is a very upbeat, high BPM type of song, but be open to it because I think this is where rap is headed. That's all we have for y'all this week. We will listen to the Book of Clarence soundtrack by next week and tell you if Kodak Black washed Adukunle Gold or not. Um, you know, I don't know who A&R'd this project. If it was Elliot, then I think I don't know, but we'll let y'all know next week. Anything to leave the people with, or are you good, bro?
You know what I'm gonna say? Like, subscribe, share with your mama, your grandma, your uncles, your cousins, your girlfriend's friends, whoever you need to share it with. We're trying to be the bridge between America and the diaspora. I'm coming up with the tagline too. So let's go. See y'all next week.
The bridge between America and the diaspora. I think there's something there, but we'll see y'all next week. We'll see y'all next week.